How do I say?
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah.
How do I say? Yes, honorable. We're good to go now. Just want us to know from this has passed the directive. Yes, I understand it has been happening. But when should people use their phones during the election day? When should they use their phones? Because I understand that at a certain point, phones are not allowed. Just to look that on the ground.
Yeah, like I've been telling the nation right from the beginning of these campaigns that Mr. Byabakama and the Electoral Commission are being used by General Museveni to rig the election, and they are clearly not in control of this election. Apart from being silent, conspicuously silent about all the injustices and all the irregularities that have been ongoing, apart from being silent about the murder that has been happening, orchestrated by the police and the military, apart from being silent from the constant blockages of our campaign meetings, apart from being silent by the police and the military taking over the campaign, the Electoral Commission has come up again to expose itself further by blocking us from carrying out campaigns in various districts, not only the districts that they gazetted as COVID-19 risky districts, but also the districts like Palisa and Bukedea and others, 16 districts where we were supposed to campaign, but the Electoral Commission said we had to sign a memorandum of understanding. Just yesterday, Mr. Byabakama came out and shocked the nation when he said people were not supposed to use cameras to cover the events of the electoral process on polling stations. That is illegal, that is unacceptable, we don't agree with it. We want a credible and transparent, free and fair election. If Mr. Byabakama is organizing a free and fair, credible and transparent election, then why stop people from covering the goings on? You have all seen the attack on journalists. They have been shooting at journalists. Many of them are fighting for their lives in hospitals. Yesterday, 3 online journalists were arrested. Even mainstream journalists are being targeted by the regime forces. Why? Because they are exposing the injustices and the criminality that is being carried out by state operatives. Therefore, I tell Mr. Byabakama that the world is watching you descend in criminality. You are the head of an electoral commission that is supposed to be independent. So there's no way you should stop or stand in the way of transparency. There's no law that forbids people from capturing and reporting what is happening on the electoral commission on the electoral day. Most importantly, the journalists. So I continue to encourage all journalists to cover all happenings, all goings on the electoral day and on the polling stations. And I also encourage all Ugandans to use their cameras. Our biggest weapon as a generation is the camera. They have guns, but they fear the camera because the camera says the truth unfiltered.
Okay. Then the other question. We saw
Bannayuganda twabategerezaawo mu ntandikwa ti mwami Byabakama n'akakiiko ak'ebyokulonda bakozesebwa mwami Museveni okubba obululu n'okubuzaabuza okulonda kuno. Ng'oggyeko okusirika ng'ebikolobero bitukolebwako nga akakiiko k'ebyokulonda katuvunaanyizibwako. Ng'oggyeko akakiiko k'ebyokulonda okusirika nga batemula abawagizi baffe nga ne poliisi nemisa kampeyini zaffe. Ng'oggyeko okusirika nga poliisi n'amagye bawambye okulonda nga basazzaamu kampeyini zaffe nga batusiba nga basiba kampeyini timu zaffe zonna. Mwami Byabakama n'akakiiko k'ebyokulonda bongedde ate okweyanika. Basooka kutugaana kugenda mu districts ezimu nga size ezo ze baali bagambye nti zo ziyinamu obulwadde bwa covid district esukka 13 wabula districts 16 nze ng'omuntu baŋŋanye ogenda okolayo campaign mwami byabakama n'akakiiko ke ne bagutegeeza nti ngenda kusooka kusandagana ku mukono nabo ekintu ekitakoleddwa ku ba presidential campaign ku ba presidential candidate balala n'ekyo tekyakomyawo olunaku lwajjo omwami byabakama yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti bannamawulire tebakkirizibwa kukwata bifaananyi na kulipootinga kwebyo bigenda maaso mu kulonda n'atiisatiisa n'abantu abakozesa kamera zaabwe tebakikola mu bukyamu okusookera ddala kya buswavu kubanga mwami byabakama mulamuzi era akimanyi nti tewali tteeka ligaana bannamawulire okukola mulimu gwabwe naddala ku lunaku olw'okulonda tewali teeka ligaana abantu kukozesa kamera naddala ku lunaku olw'okulonda ekyo nno kyongera okwanika nti atidde abantu okumanya amazima mwami Museveni atya abantu okumanya amazima tebaagala nsi etegeere ebigenda mu maaso ku lunaku olw'okulonda ngenda maaso n'okukunga bannayuganda n'okubategeeza nti mukozese kamera zammwe mwe bannamawulire mbasaba mukole omulimu gwammwe naddala ku lunaku olw'okulonda muze mulaba nga poliisi n'ebitongole byonna ebirina okuba nga bikuuma ddembe nga balumbagana bannamawulire babakwata babasiba olunaku olwajjo bannamawulire 3 aba online bakwatibwa ne basibibwa bannamawulire bangi balumbaganiddwa nga n'abalala bali mu kulwanirira bulamu bwabwe mu malwaliro ekyo nno kyoleke nti gavumenti ya mwami Museveni ekozesa akakiiko ka mwami byabakama okugezaako okubba akalulu kano bannayuganda kye batagenda kukkiriza.
Whose nature? Yesterday, many propagandists have come out on social media to castigate or use the pictures of your family moving outside of the country. We need your response about that.
It is clear that the regime propagandists are trying to twist any measure of safety that I am giving to my children. My children are minors, they are young, from 8, 5, 8 and others. All of you have seen that my family and all those people around me have been targeted. Just in 2017, grenades were thrown at the bedroom of my son. And I have credible information that they were planning to kidnap my children in order to coerce me into subjugation. They were trying to use my family and to use my children. And so, in a dictatorship and in a dangerous situation like Museveni, I decided to yield to the numerous advice that I got from friends to get my children out of this danger zone. After all, they are not voters, they are minors. We had offers from friends in the diaspora to host them, and after so much consultation, I yielded to it and allowed them to host our children. I must also remind the people of Uganda that Mr. Museveni and his propagandists that are trying to make this look like a crime, Mr. Museveni had to take his family to Sweden. All of them were in Sweden while he was facing Obote, who he called a dictator. So it is only in the safety, in the desire for safety for those little ones that the regime was planning to kidnap and put on gunpoint so that they can coerce me into subjugation. Now I am here to face you, Mr. Museveni. You want me? Come for me. Leave my children out of this. I am here, my wife is here, we are adults, we are the voters, and I am the candidate. So I am here if you want me.
So are you saying that your children have been, you've gotten information that your children are going to be?
Yes, I had credible information that my children were going to, that some of my children were going to be kidnapped. And that was the most soft spot of me. When they kidnap your child, they can weaken you. That is why I decided to yield to the advice to get my kids out of this. And many cars have been following my children. I changed their schools constantly. Many of them they've not been leaving home because they were living in fear. There was a plan to kidnap them. And that is why I accepted and took the advice to get them out of the country.
This seems to be just a theory, but I want you to have a message of some people who think that you are whisking your children away from the country and leaving children of other Ugandans to die in the country. What message would you have for them?
I am somebody's child. I am somebody's father. My wife is somebody's child, and she's somebody's mother. We are the voters. We have not preached any violence. It is the regime that has been preaching and has been practicing violence on the people. We don't carry any guns. We don't carry any weapons. It is the regime that has weapons, and they've been murdering people. I am in the country. I've not gone anywhere. I offered myself and sacrificed myself for the country. I and my wife are here.
Kwekyo kyenyini ku bifaananyi ebitambula ku social media n'okuba nti state propagandist are using it against you.
Nange mbalabye bangi propagandist ba Mwai Museveni nga bagamba naddusiza abantu bange, abaana bange. Kituufu ti buli omu akimanyi ti babadde batagetinga abantu abaneetolodde n'okusingira ddala abaana bange. Era nyina information eva mu nsonda ezesigika tibabadde bateekateeka okuwamba abaana bange babateeke ku mudumu gw'emmundu oba babasereka amatu olwo nno basobole okunkaka okwogera byeseetegese kwogera, basobole okunkaka okukkiriza byeseetegese kukkiriza. Mwenna mwakirabako mu 2017 bwe bakasuka guluneedi ku 2 ku kisenge kya mutabani wange Solomon Kampala nga baŋŋamba ne bansindikira n'obubaka ne baŋŋamba nve mu nsonga zaatogikwatako oba si kyo abaana bange mbeerabire. Kakati ye pulaani yemu eyabadde eteekwateekebwa nga bagezaako okuwamba abaana bange basobole okuŋŋonza omutima kubanga bakiraba nti omutima gwakola ki gwakaluba. N'olw'ensonga eyo oluvannyuma lw'okuwuliriza bannaffe bangi nnyo abadde bampa amagezi ba honorables n'ab'eŋŋanda nti abaana mbajjewo nsobole okukola byenkola nga Mwai Museveni talina wasobola kunkwata. Ensonga lwaki nabawuliriza abo abaasaba wakiri abaana mbabawe. Tulina mikwano gyaffe abali ebweru w'eggwanga abansaba nti wakiri ba abaana bataneetuuka mbabawe kubanga gavumenti ebadde batagetinga. Kinajjukirwa nti emmotoka nnyingi zibadde zigoberera abaana bange nga baagala okubawamba, okubabuzaawo basobole okunkaka okukkiriza byesikiririzaamu, basobole okunkaka okwogera byesikakasa byesaagala era byesikiririzaamu. Kakati mbategeeza era ne Mwai Museveni mutegeeza ti akakabadi ko kayiise nze wendi ndi wano, bw'oba onjagala wendi mbeera magere gye ndi ne mukyala wange, naye abaana bo beesonyiwe kubanga naawe Mwai Museveni mu myaka gy'ekinaana wajjawo abaana bo wano bwe wali olwanagana n'Obote. Abo bamuhoozi ne bannatasha bonna bakulira Sweden. N'olw'ensonga eyo pulaani gy'obadde pulaaninga ng'okimanyi nti bw'okwata ku baana oba oŋŋonzezza eyo nayo Katonda tuyambye ne tukutebuka kati wendi tugasimbagane.
Thank you. Honorable, bw'ogamba okukkiriza by'otayagala kukkiriza wamu n'okwogera by'otayagala kwogera, abasomera ebintu mu bbaasa bayinza okugamba nti oba oli awo oyogera ku binaava mu kalulu. Bw'ogeraageranyiza n'engeri Museveni bwe yaggyawo abaana be bwe yalagina okutanagana n'Obote, tulowooza nti kiriwo ekito. Then n'ekirala abantu abamu balowooza nti oba oli awo gwe oggyewo ababo then ate ng'otadde obulamu bw'abannansi abalala mu matigga naddala abo abakwetoolodde nga b'Uganda. Nsaba nakyo
ndi Munnayuganda, ndi mwana wa muntu era ndi muzadde wa muntu. Mukyala wange Munnayuganda, mwana wa muntu era muzadde wa muntu. Twena gwe tuli. Nze neesaddaaka ng'omuntu ndi wano. Mwenna mumanyi nti Mwai Museveni byabadde agezaako okukozesa yagezaako okutugulirira ne kigaana, n'agezaako tutisatisa ne kigaana. Era twafuna information nti yaweebwa amagezi kati akwate ku baana buli pesa erijja okutugonza. Ensonga lwaki twasazeewo abaana bamutebule tubajjewo abeere nga talina wayinza kutuyita kutugonza tukkiriza bye tutakkiririzaamu. Tuzze tugamba Bannayuganda ffe tetuli bakozi ba ffujjo era tetuli ba butabanguko. Gavumenti y'enkozi y'effujjo, yekwata emmundu, yetta abantu, si ffe. Tugenda mu kulonda kuno nga tugenda kusuula akalulu era ffe abantu abakulu ffe tugenda okulonda. N'olw'ensonga eyo Mwai Museveni naye njagala ajjukire nti bwe yali agenda okufeesinga Obote yajjawo abaana be ne badiringa nakyo ng'abantu abakulu. Era mu kampeyini zaffe temubadde baana bataneetuuka, ffena tuli bantu bakulu abasukka emyaka 18 era ffe tugenda okulonda.
President, one of the RDCs in the eastern Uganda is the narrow district of Manafa district. In early December, he came and posted on Facebook that you are being funded by a gay group which is funding you money to do all these campaigns. Can you clear this information in the east?
It should be a shame for this regime that has nothing anymore to tell or convince the people of Uganda but resorting to propaganda. We are Ugandans. All Ugandans have seen us and they see how we operate. What we stand for are the causes of the common people. No Ugandans need to be paid to demand for justice. No Ugandan needs to be paid to demand for better roads, better schools, better hospitals. No Ugandan needs to be paid to see the wrongdoings of this regime. So if they think that we must be paid by foreigners to demand for our own rights, then they have a mental problem. Of course, General Museveni has been a propagandist, he has been a conman right from the word go. But I'm glad that our generation is past that. They will say all their lies, they will preach all their propaganda, but the people of Uganda know exactly what they believe in. They believe in a new Uganda, they believe in freedom, they believe in liberty, and they are going to achieve that. Thank you.
Olunaku olwajjo ab'ebyokwerinda bavuganye convoy ate twalabye mu mbeera y'emu oluvannyuma lw'okugaana ng'ate tulaba emmotoka ezisoba mu 20 nga zaagala kwerinda. Olowooza kano katego kuwagala kukinini?
Okusookera ddala mwenna muze mulaba nga abalina okuba ab'ebyokwerinda poliisi n'amagye nga batuziyiza okuyita makubo amakulu nga batusindika mu makubo amekusifu ate engeri eyo gye batuteegera ne basindira emmotoka zaffe amasasi n'ogezaako okutukolako obulabe. Mulabe nti babadde bagezaako nnyo okutagetinga abantu abaneetolodde bwe twabadde mu bizinga by'e Kalangala bakutte abantu abasukka mu 120 kubanga bye campaign team yaffe nga bagezaako nnyo okutukendeeza. Olunaku lw'eggulu bwe twabadde tujja bakutte emmotoka z'amawulire 2 ne bakwata n'emmotoka endala ez'abo abayambi bange, emmotoka etambuliramu emmere yaffe, emmotoka etambuliramu bapolitical assistant baffe, n'emmotoka etambuliramu abasawo n'ab'ebyokwerinda byaffe. Ne bagamba nti sirina kutambula na mmotoka nnyingi, sirina kutambula na convoy. Wayiseewo akadakiika ntono ate ne mulaba ng'emmotoka esukka 20 eza patrol police nga zitugoberera, nga zo ziringa ezigamba nti si nnyingi oba si convoy. Ekyo kyongera okulaga bannayuganda nti ab'ebyokwerinda balina omupango ogutuusa obulabe ku bulamu bwange. Naye nze ng'omuntu nabagamba neewaayo ku lw'eggwanga lyange kasita ensi yonna emanyi kye bapulaninga okunkolako. In English or English? It is clear that the regime has been targeting everybody close to me, but most importantly, my family. Right from 2017, they threw grenades at the bedroom of my son, trying to kill him. And they sent a message to me that I either back down from the Tojikwatako process or my children will be harmed. They've been trailing and following my children. I had to change their schools, but they continued to follow them. I had confined the children at home for the longest time because I originally had information that they were targeting them. Recently, we had very credible information that they were intending to kidnap some of my children in order to coerce me into subjugation, to accept things that I didn't believe in, or to make me say things or make statements that I don't believe in. So I was advised by various leaders and various elders to get my minor children out of the country for safety. I'm glad that some friends in the diaspora offered to host them for a while when it is as dangerous as it is right now. And that's why, following all these threats of kidnapping my children and harming them physically, I decided to agree with that advice and got the children out of danger, out of the country. But I am here in the country and my wife is here in the country. And to also the regime propagandists that are trying to use it against this revolution of ours. I want to remind you that when General Museveni was fighting with Obote, he had to take his children out of the country, and all those Natashas and Mohozis were living in Sweden while the war was raging. So it is only sensible for me to get the miners out of the country, to get the miners out of danger. If Mr. Museveni wants me, I am here. Let him face me, let him keep away from my children. I know what he and his regime of blood and national shame was planning to do to my children, and I'm thankful to the people that gave me the information and advised me. Shame on all of them that were trying to use the children to subjugate me. Now you cannot do anything. I am here. Whatever you want to do it to me. I am an adult like you. Thank you.